It's a mystery that has baffled police for more than 2 decades and left one family member living in limbo. Robert Scott Clive, known to friends and family simply as Scott, vanished without a trace in North Shields in October 2002. Scott had moved from Stranraer in Scotland just 10 months earlier. The 30-year-old labourer was living in a bedsit on Prudhoe Terrace when no one heard from him for several days. His family in Scotland reported him missing. At first, police treated Scott as a missing person, but several weeks later, a murder probe was launched, despite the fact that no body had been found. Detectives made repeated appeals for information and released CCTV images of Scott captured just hours before he disappeared. That night, October 10th, Scott had been out drinking in North Shields before going to a party. The last confirmed sighting was at the Customs House accommodation for single people on Borough Road, where he had been with others. He was described as white, 5'11", of medium build, with blue eyes and dark brown crew-cut hair. He had distinctive features including a missing part of his big toe, a scar through one eyebrow, and tattoos on his arms and wrists. When last seen, he was wearing black Nike trainers, a black jacket, jeans, and a beige jumper. In the early hours of the investigation, 7 people were arrested, but no charges were ever brought. Then, in 2008, police launched a major review. Divers searched the River Tyne after a new witness said they'd seen a man matching Scott's description by the water in the early hours of October 11th. No trace was ever found, but detectives told Scott's family they believed he had gone into the river. His loved ones, however, refused to accept this explanation. They even rejected an offered death certificate, saying there was no proof. Scott's mother, Tricia, has spoken about the heartbreak of living in limbo. Marking the 20th anniversary of his disappearance, she said, "We will never get over this. Our family is broken with Scott's loss. And the worst thing is we still have no closure." Then, 2 decades after Scott went missing, the case took a dramatic turn. In 2022, police arrested a man in his 40s on suspicion of murder. He was questioned and later released on bail. Earlier this year, 3 more people, a man in his 40s, a man in his 50s, and a woman in her 40s, were also arrested on suspicion of murder. They included a suspect from the previous year who was re-arrested. All were later released under investigation. Northumbria police also revealed fresh evidence suggesting Scott had been assaulted on the night he disappeared. Detectives confirmed that CCTV showed him walking towards Coronation Street in North Shields shortly after 11 p.m. on October 10, 2002. In February, forensic officers spent weeks searching a house on that street, removing items for examination. The current occupier, who had no connection to the case, was temporarily rehoused during the search. As the investigation continues, detectives are once again appealing for information. They've asked anyone who lived on Coronation Street in 2002 to come forward, even if they don't believe they saw anything relevant. Detective Inspector Mark Afferton, who is leading the case, said, "Our thoughts very much continue to be with Scott's loved ones. They are living without knowing what has happened to him, and we want to be able to provide them with the answers they deserve." For Scott's family back in Scotland, the agony goes on. They have spent nearly 23 years waiting for answers, still hoping that one day the truth about what happened to their son and brother will finally come to light. This remains one of North Shields' most enduring mysteries, the disappearance of Robert Scott Clive.